The parish box was not a hideout. It was simply a room beneath a church that had never been important enough for the lattice to notice. Mara led Elena down the narrow stairwell without explanation, the way one might guide a colleague through an unfamiliar archive. The air carried the low scent of candle smoke and old paper. No scanners here, only the soft rustle of envelopes and the occasional clink of coins dropped by hand. Elena watched as a woman in a faded coat placed 3 folded bills into the poor box marked clinic medicine. A man beside her added a single envelope labeled in careful handwriting, funeral flowers, Vale family. The bills were wrinkled, imperfectly read, deliberately small. The kind the inference engine would dismiss as low-velocity noise, statistically irrelevant, therefore safe. Mara stopped beside a plain wooden table where a volunteer was sorting donations. She spoke quietly, the same unsentimental tone she had used in the shelter. This is what the engine calls reviewable plausibility of informal exchange. 3 bills tonight, tomorrow maybe 5. Never enough to trigger a chainbreak alert. The model sees random citizen anxiety. We see insulin for a child whose parents are off-ledger. Funeral money for someone the state declared dead years ago. Care that doesn't ask permission. Elena's gaze moved across the room. An elderly man slipped an envelope into the funeral box, then touched the shoulder of the woman beside him. A gesture too brief for any scanner to have caught, even if one had been present. The woman nodded once. No words, just the transaction of shared grief made possible by paper that would never be fused to an identity account. The engine would classify this as gray market dependency, unscripted, therefore a wound. Exactly. Your doctrine calls every untraceable exchange a threat to the common body. These people call it Tuesday night. They're not revolutionaries, Voss. They're just refusing to let the lattice decide who is allowed to help whom. A young father approached the table carrying a small paper bag. He placed 2 bills inside an envelope marked pediatric doses, no names. The volunteer took it without question and added it to the stack destined for the off-ledger clinic. The father's shoulders eased slightly, the smallest visible relief. I helped write the temporal aggregator that would flag this exact pattern. Irregular velocity, deliberate pause before deposit, recurrence across parish nodes. The model would draw the gray arc within days. And then what? A procedural hygiene review? A quiet freeze on the donor's future digital credit once the recall fuses the histories? The state doesn't need to arrest anyone. It only needs to make every act of unscripted care too expensive to risk. Elena did not answer. She was watching the elderly man again. He had taken a single bill from his pocket, smoothed it once between his fingers the way Jonah once had, and placed it in the poor box with the quiet precision of someone who understood the machine's blind spot. In that moment, Elena understood the true target of the lattice. Not crime, not even the occasional gray act by otherwise compliant citizens. It was the ordinary, unrecorded kindnesses that had always existed outside state narration, the small, statistically irrelevant movements of paper that let people remain human without first asking the Bureau's permission. You still have 13 days before the recall window opens. 13 days before every one of these envelopes becomes part of your brother's chain, or yours. Elena looked at the stack of donation envelopes, each one a deliberate break in the chain that the system she had perfected would soon be forced to close. We called it continuity, but it was authorship. We weren't preserving reality. We were deciding in advance which version of human need would be allowed to count. She had come here expecting proof of resistance. Instead, she had found proof of something quieter and more dangerous. The persistence of care that refused to be made legible. Upstairs, the church remained dark, almost forgettable. But below it, envelopes moved from hand to hand with the old authority of private mercy. Somewhere in the city above them, Director Quill was already preparing the speech that would name that mercy a wound in the body politic.